Hey folks, this is Rose from In Rose's Garden, and today we are going to work on a fun little pair of earrings. Not as simple as they could be, but not difficult either. So let's turn down and I'll show you what we're going to do. So what we're going to do here is we have two pieces of, I think this is 18 gauge wire, German style, and it's about 3.5 inches each. And then we have some ball head pins, 3 for each earring, 1 ear wire for each earring, and some ball spacers. I have 6 of those. And then I have some chain. I'm not exactly sure how long I cut these. Let's check it out. I think it's probably a little over 2 inches, maybe. About right at 2 inches. So that's fine. And then we have some little leaves. These are all from my stash. We'll have 2 light colored ones and a dark colored one per earring. And then these beads are all from SoftFlex. These beads, the pinks, all the pink flowers are from the Cherry Blossoms kit. And these flowers are from the Spring Blossoms kit. So what we're going to do is split these up. This is the other earring. And what we're going to do is we're going to spin these beads up with these two together. The light colored leaf with the square flower. And this darker colored leaf between these two. Now because the leaves are dent in and have a bigger waist, so to speak, sort of like me, we're going to use these ball spacers to create some space so it will hang a little more evenly. And so it's going to go like so. Those are the 3 components which are going to go on our wires here. And then this piece of chain is going to go like so between these 2 pieces, with this piece hanging down below it. Now this is not going to be this wide when it's finished. It's probably going to be more like so. But what we're going to do with this piece then is we're going to make a triangular top for this to hang onto. So the first thing we've got to do is find the middle of our triangular piece, or our bar here. So that spot, since I cut these at 3.5, is going to be 1 3/4. So we'll want to take our flat nose at 1 3/4 and bend it. Just like that. We'll do that to both of them while we're at it so that we don't have to have the ruler out again. So there are our 2 1 3/4 pieces. Now what we're going to do here at the top is we could just jump bring it right to our, but I don't like the fact that it'll slip a bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my bell making pliers, put them right in that place, and then I'm going to bring my 2 wires over like so. And then, because I have them over there, I'm going to give them one spin so that they sort of lock that wire in place. And we want this one to go this direction because it's going to jump ring onto our wire here. So then we'll bring these down like so. We'll want to make sure these are nice and straight. So now we're going to do the exact same thing with this one. Put that in there. Bring them over to either side and give them a twist. And that one didn't feel like it twisted right. In fact, I can see it didn't twist right. See how much shorter this one is now than that one? So we have a problem here, so let's see if we can get it fixed. I think we're longer on the other side now. Let's see what we've got going on here. Okay, we're about the same, but this other one is still a little wonky. We got to fix it. So one thing, we want this to go this direction, and this is, I think, too much twists here. So let's undo it. And now we have one leg longer than the other one. I can see that for a fact. So we're going to check it with this one, and we'll cut off any extras on either side. So I'm not sure what I did to make this be a little bit out of whack here, but I obviously did something. So let's see how we're doing here. This one looks pretty good, but this one looks too long, which is strange because they were the same size of wire. They should have the same length on both, but they don't. So we will have to fix that, as I say. So let's check this again. Now see, that one now looks a little bit shorter, which it is. So we're going to make sure that we have them cut to the same length. So we'll cut this little bit off right here. Now, if I hadn't done something to mess this other side up, we wouldn't have had to do this little bit of cutting. But since I messed something up, not sure what, but it was obviously in my twist, we're going to even these wires out. Oop. And I still think this one needs a little, nope. Looks, oh, it's over here that it needs done. Okay. Okay, now that we have this piece done, what I want to do is get my bench block out and flatten these sides a little bit. Not entirely, but a little bit. But first, we're going to make some loops at the bottom. Now, this is your choice, to loop outside or to loop inside. If you loop inside, you'll probably want to push these bars down a little closer to each other so that they, the chain isn't really wide. But if you loop to the That still looks too long. I'm going to have to measure that and find out. Loop to the is definitely too long. If you loop to the inside, then you can have a wider triangular piece. About 1 1/4 and about 1 1/8. So yes, this one's still too long. So let's cut about this much off. Now, how big are you? There we go. That's about right. This is too big. Okay, now I think we're more in line with each other. Now, as I say, this one looks to be tipped a little bit, so we'll straighten her up some. Okay. Now I'm going to take my pliers, and we're going to turn a loop with the smallest one going to the outside. Like I say, you can choose the inside or the outside. Actually, when I designed these, I had them twisting to the inside, and I decided I liked going to the outside better. It's a little more secure, because your chain is going to, and so is one of your little drops. You're going to want it to be relatively even there. So what I want to do now is I'm going to get my bench block out, and we're going to hammer these down a little bit, give them a little texture. I've got my bench block and my chasing hammer. We're just going to hold on to the little ring here at the edge while we flatten the bars out some. Turn it over. Now we'll do the same to the other. Now you could also add some texture here if you wanted to. I'm not going to bother to, but you could if you wanted to. And you'll notice as you hammer things that they will go out of shape to a degree. So you will then have to straighten them back up some. Okay. So we're done with this for the time being. And now, see, we've got it all sort of weirded out here. So we need to take our pliers and straighten this out some. Okay, this needs to go over this way just a hair's breadth. Okay, I think this one's good. Let's see what this one looks like. Oh, this one isn't too horribly bad. Let's see how close they are to each other still. Not too bad. So now, because I've hammered the loops, I'm not sure our chain will actually go onto there. We can try. So what we want to do is open our loop up just a little bit and see if our chain will go on. And it does, so that's good. And I'm not going to close this right away because we also are going to put 2 of our flower loops on here. In fact, I'm not even going to put my chain on right yet, and I'll show you why. Because what we're going to do is we're going to take and make our little flowers up here. Come on, you. Well, this is for one side. This is for the other side. It's going to hook right up here to this, and this will hook on this side. And then this last one is going to slide right over the chain, and it's going to be allowed to slide back and forth. So what we need to do first is we're going to do this one up, and we'll do it just like we always do, except for I'm going to use the larger one because it's going to slide around on the chain on this one. So the other two will use the smaller, but this one is going to slide on the chain, so it's just going to keep this bigger loop. Now, if you wished to and you want it stationary, you can either attach right into the chain with this, or you can jump ring it into the chain. So just wrap this baby up now. We'll cut this excess off here. Now you got to remember this. These beads are glass, so you don't want to be too tight with them. On the other hand, you don't want to be too loose either, but better to be careful of that top bead at least, because you don't want to break your glass flower. Okay, I think I have it pretty well tucked in there. Could be tucked a little better, but okay, so what we're going to do with this now is it's going to go through the chain, and then the chain needs to go on to the other side. But we're still not going to close our loops up. Come on, go on there. Because we have to put the other flowers on these sides. So the easiest way to do that is to just wrap them, and before we close these, put them inside. There we go. So that's going to hang down like that. Now, if you didn't want that to hang down that low, you could always make your chain shorter. That's entirely up to you. Now we have to wrap these two up and put them on the other side. Now one of these will go on one side, one on the other, and then on the opposite earring, we will put them in the opposite direction. So say I put the pinks on on this side, I would put it on the other side, on the other one, so that they are the same when you wear them, so that the two pinks are on the outside and the two purples are on the inside by your face. So now we'll wrap these two up. This is, see, it's tipped a little to that side, so I'm going to put my thumbnail here and then pull it over. Just roll it just a little bit so it stays more even. Now we're going to slide this one up and onto here, and then we can close this side of the loop. Now, because the loop is opened a little bit as we smashed it, we also want to work that back into place there. So there is those two on. Now we're going to do this one and put it on. So grab it and wrap it. Now if you wanted to, you could use two purples or two pinks of these square flowers. I just wanted to make a little. Come on, stop wrapping above where you're supposed to wrap at. What are you doing here? Cut the excess. And tuck it in. So take it and we put it on, just like we did the other. Then we're going to close this loop up on this side. Now, as you can see how open it is right there, we need to get that closed because we don't want them sliding off. So just ease it over. And when I say ease, I mean ease, because this has now been pounded, so it's going to be a little bit flimsier than it would be otherwise. So there we go. There's our earring, other than having to put our ear wire on. This needs to be turned. There we go. There's what she's going to look like. Now we just need to put our ear wire on, and this one is finished. But before we bother to do that, let's go ahead and do the other earring up, and then we'll get both earrings wires on at the same time. So now we've got a choice. We can do our flower wind-ups first, or we can put the chain on first. I think I'm just going to do the flower wind-ups first. It will, they are the simplest thing to do right now. So let's start with our middle one. And remember, this is the one with the larger loop because of the going to be rolling on the chain. So we'll do the larger loop up, round, bring her over. Now we will wind her up Go down, bead. You don't belong up there. When we get the other two put together, we can just put everything on that one earring together all at once, because everything else will be completed. Looks like it's at a slight angle, not too bad. But since it's going to be sliding on the chain, we want it to be pretty even. And there we go. So there's that. It's going to go in the chain just like so. And swing around on our hooks. So next, of course, it's one or the other of these two. Now these are, of course, the smaller size of loops because they are not sliding on the chain. They'll be hooking on the edges, on the ends. So just hold this together and then we will wrap it up. Cut the excess off and tuck it in. One done. Now the other one. So again, hold it where they come together and wrap them up. Cut the excess off and tuck it in. Okay, now all our pieces are ready to go together onto this second one here. So again, we just open our sides up. Just put our chain on the one side. And this time I'm going to put the pink on this side because I have the purple on that side. So then this one can be closed. I don't think that's quite all the way close, but we'll worry about it after we get the other side put on. So open up the other side. Get our Get our little beads back on here. Oops, no dropping off. And then we have to get our chain in this side. There we go. And then our purple one on this side. Bing. Now we have to tighten our loops back down again. This one is a little over to the other side here. We want to get that as close to the bar as we can. So that our chains and such don't slip out. Even her up here. Now the same goes for the other side. I don't think I had it quite close enough. There, it's pretty close now. And there are the two earrings, though we still do need to put their ear wires on, and that's a simple matter of getting out a couple of jump rings and jump ringing them on. So let's get a couple of my tinies. Don't have a lot of these left. I just noticed that this wire looks to be a little bit in the center here. We don't want that. We want them more or less evenly dropped down. See how you are doing. Okay. Though I think that this one is out a little further, punched in a little further than that one, so we'll bring it out some more. And if you need to put them over the top of each other to compare, that is fine. So I think we're pretty good right now. So now we'll open up these tiny jump rings, make sure they're big enough. If they're not, we can always switch to the next size up. Okay, this one's entirely finished. Now remember, when you put your second one on, to watch to make sure that you have your ear wire going the way you want it to, because when this goes on, oh come on, don't be difficult. We want these purple ones to be this way. Because I want, when you're wearing them, I want the same color to be onto the outside of your ear, and the smaller one to be to the other way. I mean, the pink one to be to the other way. Oh, come on, don't be difficult with me. Uh-oh. Now see, I just turned it accidentally. I'm going to want to turn it back. Dropped my, even though the other one went in very simply, this one wants to be a bit difficult, and that happens. There we go. And tighten her up. And there are our earrings all done. Now this green leaf, of course, can swing, so this one went to this way, so we can swing it back with no problem. But there are our earrings all done. And if you want, this one can go this way. So they're opposite to each other. That goes pretty. Hope you liked making these with me. Okie dokie. Here's the earring. It's pretty long, as you can see. If long is not your thing, but as you can see, the purple ones would be in the inside towards your neck, the pink ones on the outside, unless you flip them over. Well, I think it's not going to make any difference. The purple one's going to be in the inside with the pink on the outside, like so. So there they are. Now, if these are too long for you, there are ways to shorten them. Use a smaller wire when you make your triangular piece here, or use shorter chain. Now, I considered shortening the chain, but I sort of like them like that. But if you did shorten the chain, you could bring the little one up, like so here, if you wanted to, like here. So it wasn't all the way down here. It could come way up here if you put a lot shorter chain in here. Well, let's see if I can make it look better here. I think I like it better with the drop down here because it doesn't bang into the other flowers at all, but which it could if it was up higher, but I like it that way. So those are our earrings. Like I said, there's items from my stash in here, but there's also this flower, this pink flower, and this pink flower are from the Cherry Blossoms SoftFlex kit, and this this little one with the variegated colors in it, the greens and the oranges, and the purple came from their GGBE kit Spring Blossoms. So there we go. Aren't those pretty? Did those turn out cute? I hope you like them as well as I do, and I hope you enjoyed making them with me. Now I use these from the kits because I had them. However, if you don't have to use those particular flowers. You could use any flower type bead. They don't have to be the square ones. They could be round ones. Any color, and they'd still be really lovely. So, this has been Rose from In Rose's Garden, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.